From time to time, you may want to use the Unwrap UVW modifier. And what that allows you to do is take an object and unwrap it and create a template that you can take and place in another graphic software like Photoshop or Illustrator, and then place graphics on it and bring it back into 3D Studio Max and place that wrapping on that particular object. So let me give you a little direction as far as where we're going with this. I've got a little box modeled here, and it's more or less in the shape of this video game cartridge that I want to model, and I'll show you the example now. So I want to bring these graphics into 3D Studio Max and sort of recreate this object in 3D Studio Max. So what I'm going to do is click on the object and then go to the modifier menu, and then under modifier list, I'm going to look for Unwrap UVW. Go ahead and expand this and choose face. And then under parameters, click edit. Okay, the next step is go to mapping and choose flatten mapping. And it's going to ask you what the threshold is, and this is very important. Depending on what you put in this box here, will have a great impact on what template you end up with. So if you want a lot of little pieces and little details, if you've got an object that has a lot of little details, and from one point to the next it's got different colors and different things like that, you'll probably want to come down with your threshold and create a map that has a lot of little pieces. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trash this. I'm going to put it on there again. Okay, now all I've done is I've gone back around to where I was before, so I can show you the difference if I leave the threshold at 45. See, I've got less pieces now. So if I bring this into the other software, I've got less pieces that I've got to decorate. So it just depends on what the project calls for. If I had brought that threshold up, I would have had even less pieces. Perhaps, one big chunk that would have been a little bit harder for me to separate the different parts, because what you need to do is you need to find what belongs to what. So if I click on this face here, you can see that it's directly attached to the front of this video game cartridge. So this green square here represents the front of the video game cartridge, and you can see how it's in sync when I go through these different polygons. And that means that this is probably the back, because we don't see it. When I click on the polygons here, you don't see it lighting up here, but I bet you if I spin this around, yep, sure enough, it's on the back. So that kind of gives you an idea of how this thing works. So we know that this is the front, and we probably need to put a label on the top. So let's see if we can find the top. No, it's not that. That's the side. There it is. Okay, so we know this is the top because when we click these polygons, you can see them corresponding with our movements here in the viewport. So the next step is to make a print screen. There's a button on your keyboard that says print screen, and then if you're on a laptop, you may have to use a function and then hit print screen. So go ahead and do that next, and then go to your graphics software. So I've got Photoshop here, so I'm going to do File, New, and then I'm going to do Edit, Paste, and that places my print screen from 3D Studio Max into Photoshop. Notice that there's a thick blue line around our unwrap. Let's go ahead and crop right on that thick blue line. And this is close, but no cigar. It's not perfect. It really needs to be perfect. So I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to crop it exactly to that blue line. Okay. Next, I'm going to bring in my graphics. And what I've done is I've taken a picture of that front label. And so I'm going to use this, bring this into this file over here. Just click and drag using the black arrow. I'm going to zoom out so I can resize this thing. And go ahead and get rid of everything that I don't need. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust the curves on this too. Image adjustments, curves, and I'll bring the whites up and the darks down so it looks nice and crisp. Okay. I'm going to place this on here. And I'm also going to create our label here in the top face here. So let me say open, and see if I can find the top label. Go ahead and I'm going to marquee that and say edit, copy. Over here, edit, paste. Of course, I'll have to size it again. So edit, free transform. Grab a corner and holding shift, I'll scale it down. That belongs right there. I'll also adjust the curves on that. And I'll get rid of some of the excess. Okay. Next I'm going to go ahead and create a layer that'll be the cartridge. So under my menu here, I'll click New Layer, hit OK, and then using the paint bucket, and I'll click this and make sure that it's a dark color. I'm going to put a black paint on it, and I need to rearrange my layers so that the label is on top. And then I'm going to put a little texture on this. I'll go to Filter, Texture. I need to change one of these colors here. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'll apply that. I'll also put some grain. And you can just, have fun with this, play with it. Let's see what else. Maybe that. It's kind of cartridge looking. And let me adjust the curves one more time on this layer. Okay. And then I'll place a little outer glow on my sticker here. Okay. And then next I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Save as. And I'll call it game wrap. And then I'll save it as a JPEG. If I go back to 3D Studio Max, I can now place that map on this object. So to do that, I want to go here or hit M on the keyboard. That'll bring up my material editor. And then under diffuse, just to the right of it, there's a little square button. Go ahead and click on that. And you want to use bitmap. So if you're not seeing that, you may need to go down here to new and then double click bitmap. And then just go ahead and search for the file that we just created. Hit open and it goes into that material. So then you apply that material to the object. So you click on the object and then apply it using this button. And then in order to view it in the viewport, we need to click this button. Okay. We're not there yet. The label's sideways. So we need to go back to Photoshop. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the eyeball off on this so I can see this. I'm going to go ahead and select my layer with the label on it. And then Control T or Edit Free Transform in the menu if you like taking the long route. And then this will be neat because you'll see that it's linked. So if I say File Save As and I go to JPEG and I just go ahead and save over top of the old file, it'll update in 3D Studio Max. So if I go back to 3D Max, you can see it's already updated. And now it's upside down, so we need to just rotate it around and we'll be home free. File Save As, JPEG, save, replace, yes, okay, go back. And that's what we want. Now we don't have our black on, so let me go back and click this, make sure that's on. File, Save As, JPEG, replace. So that's how it should look. It's a little bit off, so we may go back if we wanted to. Can center this a little bit better. It's a lot of trial and error and getting it just the way you want it. I'd like this label to come up a little bit, and that may be the model itself. Yeah, that looks better. This looks a little bit off here, so you just keep tweaking it until you get it where you want it. Go ahead and delete that. Yeah, that's much better. So that gives you an idea. And this is just a very simple model. I mean, you can take this to the extreme, but I just wanted to give you a little idea of how to do this so that you can run with it.